So as I'm presently recording the audio, it's presently 10 minutes past midnight, August 8th, 2012. And there's this thing going on today where various online reviewers are doing or have done reviews on bad video games because, well, why not? So I figured, well, why not? It might make for a fun experience or it might be complete disaster, who knows? And so, ladies and gentlemen, I've decided to settle on a particular title that I think could easily qualify as a bad game, and this was a no-brainer for me personally. Today's subject matter is Firefly for the Atari 2600 video computer system. Now, before starting the review proper, I would like to thank my friend, who shall remain anonymous for this video, but he knows who he is, for loaning me his copy of the game for the purposes of this review. And dude, if you're watching this, I would like you to know right now that you're currently living on borrowed time, because when I find you, I will kill you and I will chop you up into little pieces, and then I will take those pieces and give them to my puppy, at which point she will either eat the remains or piss onto whatever floats her boat. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad. Let's move on to the review of Firefly for the 2600 and instantly live to regret it. Here we go. Firefly apparently has some sort of storyline involving aliens and mechanical insects or something to that extent. I don't know. It doesn't. What does it matter anyways? Firefly just plain sucks. I mean, if there's a more wretched game on the VCS, then I've clearly not played the damn thing. People like to point to E.T. as the worst game ever made, or at least one of the worst games ever made, because of, but E.T. on the 2600 has nothing on Firefly. This game defies all semblance of quality and decency, whether it be the putrid gameplay of shooting down. Okay, let me get into that. You could see it on the screen right now. One shot kills an enemy, kills the entire squadron, or Firefly. I don't know what those things are. I don't know what I'm playing. The whole game is just a couple enemies show up on screen. You shoot one, they all die. Figure that one out. I've given up trying. You pick up the item that may or may not appear, for points. You go right, you repeat the whole cycle all over again until you go through every single enemy in the game, and there aren't a whole lot, and then you go through that cycle all over again, and that's pretty much it. That is all you do in Firefly. Sounds somewhat exciting. You could note the excitement in my voice, it's kind of... But the execution's anything but. Instead, it's boring, it's annoying, it's worthless. Doesn't get any harder, doesn't get any better. It's repetition of the worst kind. It's not the kind that's engaging or exciting or exhilarating. It's not the kind that makes you want to keep going or come back for more. No, rather, it's the kind that does nothing but make you wonder why in the blue hell you're wasting your time playing this stupid thing. Control in Firefly, well, the stick works, I suppose. You could move around, you could shoot, there's that. You'll note that I did not say that it worked well, only that it works. Take that for what it's worth, it's not much there. Now apparently, if you have a trackball controller, which I do not, you could apparently play Firefly with the trackball controller. But really, why waste a perfectly good trackball controller on this tripe? You might as well set the damn thing on fire and on the remains. It's pretty much the same thing as subjecting that trackball controller to this garbage. The graphics in Firefly are kind of crap. The enemies are kind of indecipherable. You don't know what they are. You can't make them out. I guess that's a firefly you're controlling. I don't know what it is. It's kind of crap. The flowers are, they're flowers. They are the only distinguishable thing in this game aside from the score. And as you could probably hear, you have this stupid tune playing in the background at a constant basis, and it's always looping. And it's a pretty terrible melody at that. The sad thing is that this is all you're hearing throughout the game. There's no sound effects to be found anywhere in the game. Well, except for when the game ends, and when you get a game over, you lose all your lives, but more often than not, that's not going to happen. Most likely the game will end when you turn the power off. If there is any real positive I could offer about Firefly, is that it's a fairly uncommon cartridge, so you'd probably have to actually look around pretty hard for a copy. But I honestly don't know why you'd want to. Firefly is nothing more than a half-baked offering on the Atari 2600 that used to sell for real cheap back in the day to sucker people in. No doubt those folks were so frustrated and disappointed by what they got, or rather what they didn't get, that they'll turn around and think, well, maybe E.T. wasn't that bad after all. Long story short, there's no reason whatsoever why you should even have to bother with Firefly for the 2600. In terms of action shooters, space shooters, insect games, Hell, video games in general for the Atari VCS, there are tons better than Firefly. Firefly is such a worthless and reprehensible piece of computer programming that it's been known to cause anyone who plays it to suffer epileptic aneurysms, the likes of which have never before been witnessed in the history of mankind. Firefly is to the Atari 2600 video computer system what Big Rig's over-the-road racing is to PC racing games. An utterly horrific piece of coding that is not worth one iota of your time, money, and energy. Avoid this one at all costs, and have a happy review a bad game day. Good night.